Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress. So basically what I have here is my shoulder to my nipple, which is at 12, my shoulder to my under bust, which is at 15, and then my shoulder to my waist at 17. And then after that I drew in my armhole, and then I did the shoulder slope, 2 inches of neckline. So guys, after that the next thing I'm going to do is to divide my nipple to nipple by 2, and then I'm going to mark it here. And then I'm marking it here also, and down here. So mine is about 4 inches, like divided by 2 is 4 inches, and then I'm going to connect it all the way to the end. And then you're just going to go ahead and mark like your normal darts, which is ½ inch on both sides, right? ½ inch on this side, and then ½ inch on this side. And then I'm going to connect it 1 inch before the nipple line, from this point here to this point, and then from this other side to this other side too. So I have 1 inch of that here. But guys, another thing I'm going to do is, because of the under bust, you want to tighten it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 0.25 on both sides. That's ½ inch on this side, and then also ½ inch on also this side. And then I'm going to blend it down to the end this way, and then I'm going to blend it down to this end too. Guys, if you want, you can use ½ inch for a bigger bust, like bust of 44 up or 43, you can even do that. So I'm going to connect it this way, and then after that what I'm going to do is to connect from this part here to this 1 inch before the nipple line here to get my curve. And then I'm also going to put it on this other side to get my curve. So guys, once that is done, the next thing you're going to do is to come on this shoulder line and find halfway through your shoulder, find like your shoulder measurement divided by 2. That's this shoulder slope here. For me, I have 5 inches. Remember, I had 8 inches this way, and then I subtracted 3 inches for the basic neckline. So if I split this half shoulder into 2, I'm going to get about 2.5 somewhere here. And then what I'm going to do is to connect it to this point here. Just connect it from here down to this point. And then once that is done, I'm going to extend my armhole line, this line that I have here, which is going to be my chest line. I'm going to extend it here. So guys, I'm going to extend this now, this line. So but guys, it depends on you. You will go one, it depends on you where you want the bustier part of it to be, like the part that goes across, right? You know how the top is, so you're going to go from your shoulder and measure where you would want yours to be. It depends on you if you want it to start at like 1 inch above this line, which is your chest line, or 1.5 inch above that line. It depends on you where you would want it to start. So I'm going to take mine up and do 1.5, which is here. So that is 1.5 inch above this line here is where I'm going to put mine in. So somewhere here from the shoulder, if I measure it, is about 8.5. It depends on you where you want yours to be. This is because this is somebody that is busty, right? But if you want, you can always make yours go even and just use 8 inches on the dot. It depends on you. So what I'm going to do now is to go up here on this side now and mark ½ inch on this side, and then ½ inch on this other side, and mark it and connect it 1 inch before this point. You see, the dart from the bottom stopped 1 inch before my nipple line, like from my under, because this is my waist, my under bust, my nipple line, my armhole divided by 2, which is my chest line, and then where I want the tube to start. You understand? So that's this upper line. So that's where I mark the ½ inch on both sides of this line. Guys, for a bigger person, you might do more than ½ inch, right? For somebody that is really busty, you might do a little bit over ½ inch, maybe instead of 0.5, you might do 0.75. So I'm going to now connect from here to this point, and then from here on this other side to this 1 inch before I get to this line. So that's basically what I'm working with here. So now that that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to come down from this point and mark my 3 inches of neckline. depending on you how low you want the neck to come down. But you also have to put into consideration that you're still going to mark in the design at the neck. So now that I've marked this, the next thing I'm going to do now is just to come up here, and then I'm going to do 1 inch inside of this point here. From this point, I'm going to do 1 inch. Or guys, I'll just do, it depends on you. You can do 1 inch or you can do 1.25. So let's say I decide to do 1.25 for myself here. And then after that, I'm going to mark at least, I'm just going to mark at least 4.5, just enough to get me over to the other side of the dart, right? Because remember, I'm still going to take this part in, this part of this dart in. So I need to mark enough from this point now to get me across over to this other side, right? Because that's where the point of my angle is going to be. So I can't have the other leg of my angle on top of this dart. So you need for one leg of the angle to be on the other side, to just like one leg of the other leg is on this side, you need one leg to be on the other side too. So that's why if I do 4 inches, my nipple to nipple, if I do 4 inches, it's going to land me somewhere here. So that's why I decided to do at least 4.5 or 4.75, you see, just to get me across on the other side. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to calculate the top part, like the length I want it to be. So guys, with the wideness I have now, I wouldn't want to go too high. So let's say I do 3 inches here. So what you're going to do is to find the center from this point to this point. I have about 4.75. Fold my tape to that point and figure out where half of it will be, which is somewhere here, right? So I'm going to make sure that which is somewhere here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mark it here this way, one to this side and then the other one to this other side. Although I know this wouldn't really be by the center, this would not really be by the center, because when I dart this one now, when I take away this dart, this side will be smaller. But that's not what you're trying to do. Just know that you've already marked what your angle would look like, right? So I'm just going to give it a curve like this. So guys, now that this is done, all I have to do is just to go in and put in my measurement. So my bust divided by 4 is already the line I have here. So what I'm going to add next is just to mark the dart that I have here, how much it is. So I have half an inch in between here, add it back. And then what I'm going to do is to just add about 2 inches of sewing allowance. The same thing by the waist, divide your waist by 4. So what I have is about 8.5, mark that. Insert what you have as your dart, which is 1 inch for me, and then add back your 2 inches of sewing. So all I have to do now is just to go ahead and connect from here to this point, and then from here just to know where my seam allowances are. So my extra 2 inches of sewing allowance. So now let's go ahead and cut. So for the neckline, guys, instead of doing 3 inches of basic neckline, do 3.5 or 4 inches, because mine was a little tight, so I had to go back in and bring it down some more. So guys, this is it here. I've removed this here, removed this one here, this and this. So this is the pattern we are working with, and just note that this center one will be on a fold. So this center part of it, where this one meets each other, I'm going to be cutting both of them on a fold. So this is going to be on a fold, and this part here is going to be on a fold, especially this point here, right? Every other thing I'm going to cut separately. So guys, for the back panel, I'm just going to be cutting a simple princess dart back panel. If you want, you can use your basic bodice back panel. Anyone still works, just a basic back panel. So guys, you see what I did here for the back panel? It's just basically the same half an inch I left at the bottom for this other one. When I was drafting my pattern, I ruled that line, which is going to be my waistline, and then my under bust line. The next line is my nipple line, and then my chest line, and just my basic bodice, my shoulder divided by 2. And as you can see, I have a zipper allowance of 1 inch here. And then my shoulder measurement divided by 2, insert that here, 1 inch of shoulder slope, 3 inches of neckline that I marked here, and then my armhole, right? So all I have to do now is just to go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, which, like I said before, is 4 inches. I'm going to mark that 4 inches all the way to the nipple line. And then, like I said, you can use a basic bodice dart here, or if you want, you can use a princess dart. So to convert this to a princess dart, all I have to do is just to slant this line anywhere on the armhole, but preferably higher. Maybe do 2 inches below, like 2 inches from your shoulder slope down. Just mark that, right? Just enough to make sure that the line is not too angled, right? Just give it like a curve going into your armhole like that, right? And then wherever the line is, remember this was my line, all I have to do is just to extend it by 1 inch after where it ends here, and then just give it a curve into my armhole. And this is now my new princess dart for the back. So next thing I have to do is just go ahead and do my bust measurement divided by 4, like I said, which is 10.5. Mark that, and then extra 2 inches of sewing it. The same thing at the waist measurement divided by 4, which is 8.5, sorry. Mark that, and then add 2 inches of sewing it. Connect this to this like this. So this is basically what my back is going to look like, just the basic bodice. So guys, another thing I'm going to do, since I'm cutting this one directly on the fabric, is to add my 1/2 inch on the shoulder like this, right? So I'm going to add 1/2 inch directly on the shoulder, because one thing with whenever you're making anything with this bustier is you never want to pull it up. Like if you don't add this 1/2 inch at the shoulder now, and I pull this and I take it away from the body of this cloth, then it's going to affect where my under bust is, because it's going to pull it up even more. To have 1 inch of back neckline, you can do 1.5 depending on you. So just come down here, 1 inch of back neckline, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting it. So guys, now I'm going to go ahead and split this back open, because this is going to be room for my zipper. And then guys, another thing you would do is, for the back, I'm going to put it back together this way, and then I'm going to come up at the back by 1 inch. This will help your zip to relax better. We always do this. So come up at the back by 1 inch, because your back is shorter than the front, right? So you're going to blend it into the side. So go up 1 inch and then blend it into the side this way. And then you're going to go ahead and cut it off. So make sure you place it. You can do this better when you've not cut it out. It's better that way, so it doesn't move around. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut it off. So guys, this is it here. As you can see, I have 1/2 inch at the bottom here, 1/2 inch inside of this place, 1/2 inch at the bottom here, and 1/2 inch at the shoulder, just like we did at the back, right? And then the same thing goes for the front. For the bottom part here, there's 1/2 inch here and here, right? This is just so that you can be able to join these two together, and then you have your pattern back together, right? So, and then I also have 1/2 inch here, which is from the pepper. This one was added on the pepper already. You see the 1/2 inch line here, but because I didn't add that, because I was drawing this on a fabric, that was why I added the 1/2 inch on the fabric itself. So now all I have to do, and like I said, this is on a fold, so all I have to do is just to open this up now, and then I'm going to go also and draft it on a lining. Once I draft it on a lining, I'm going to start joining it together. So you see what it's going to look like. It's like this is going to be on this side, this is going to be on this side. I'm going to sew it together here, sew it together here. So basically place it this way and sew it, join it. Place the other one on this other side and then join it, right? And do the same thing on the lining. You're going to cut a piece of lining that looks like this, and looks like this. And then I'm going to join it at the top, but I'm going to insert this inside of it. So let's go ahead and just cut the lining first, and then we'll go. So guys, as you can see, what I did here is just to join this to the lining. You see how I joined it? So basically you're going to join this center part, join this, like this angle, and then the neckline, you flip it out. This part is still open, this other end is still open, and then this side also is still open. All you have to sew is this side, and then the neckline. Flip it out, join the shoulder to the back, right? Join the shoulder neckline to the back. You see what it looks like. Let me open it so you see. So you see the back is joined. So the only part remaining now is just to join this lower part to it. So how I'm going to join it is, I made sure to find the center of this top. which I found now. And then I also found the center of this upper part, the center of this one, and then I joined the two together this way, right? Make sure you place it, don't pull this apart too much, just allow it to rest the way it's supposed to be, right? Place this by the center and then allow the rest to just fall in place, and then put it in this way. You might have a little bit of excess on by the side, but that doesn't matter. And then once you do that, the next thing you're going to do is I'm going to take my lining and cover it this way and sew it close. So guys, as you can see, I've cut off the excess here. At least I've cut off most of them. So what I'm going to do is just to take my sleeve and put it here by the center and sew it down on this side. So this one down on this side. Or if you don't want any sleeve, you can go ahead and take your bias strip this way and just use bias to run through the armhole. Guys, this is it here. The whole point of the tutorial was to show you guys how to make this top part. So as you can see, I've joined it and you can see the lining underneath it here. So the lining at the top that used to join it together. If you want, you can top stitch it towards the lining, right? So now that is done, the next thing I have to do is to join the bottom. Guys, you can add like a pencil skirt to it, you can add gather to it. So I'm just going to add pleats to mine. So basically, like I said, how to just add yours. I'm making mine in form of a box pleat. You can just do whatever you want. So basically a box pleat like this. So you have your fabric, you fold it towards this direction, fold the next one towards this direction, you fold the next one this direction, the next one towards you, and just like that you've made your pleats. So you just keep on going like that, or if you want, you can gather it. So the amount of fabric you need for the width is just your waist times 2.5. If you're doing box pleats, or if you're doing gather, you can do 2.5, or your waist, round your waist measurement times 3. That will be enough to go round and give you the gather you need. So I'm going to join mine, add the zip and bring it back. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and finished it. So you see, and I added my pleats, and this is the neckline here. This is the back also. I've added my zip here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.